Hey there, Virgo community. Soul Tigress here with a story for this wonderful community. As usual, I'm not sure what's gonna come out. Looking into this frequency is definitely very heavy. Very, very heavy, very it's not too bright, but I'm not saying it's not too bright because Virgo's been up to no good or somebody's been up to no good in their energy. I just think Virgo's been working really, really, really hard. And maybe they haven't had time, or there hasn't been time for them to get a break. So what I'm picking up so far is tired, burnt out. And it could be because they're doing a lot of work, not just in one spectrum or one area of their life. It could be multiple areas of their life that is calling for their full focus. And after so long of trying to give every piece of yourself to every area of your life, it starts to wear. It starts to wear. That's just because Virgo is on top of everything. That's what it is. And they're pushing forward. And what I hear is there's a final countdown that's happening. It could be something with deadlines. It could be being able to finally free Virgo self from something. And then what I got was something at sea. And it's the sea of emotions. So that makes me wonder if it's something that Virgo is working towards getting themselves free of. And it has to do with emotions. Something that could have been very taking. Something that could have been a long time to work through. There are a lot of things that can take a long time to work through. It just all depends. All right. And everything is a little off. I don't know where I'm getting that from. But it's just like everything is a little off in the environment. You're kind of like at Craig's house where you got the sugar but no Kool-Aid. You got the peanut butter and jelly, but you ain't got no bread or crackers. You got the ramen, but somehow you don't got the pot, the cup, or whatever to put some hot water in. It's just everything's a little off. And it's nothing big. It could be the tiniest thing. But you ever notice how it's a bunch of tiny things equal to a big thing, especially when you're trying to get through something? Again, I'm not sure. But what I know is I got some lucky charms here. Some lucky charms, some deities, some Buddhas right here, depending on your belief. And for some reason, this one hasn't showed up yet from wanting to come hang out for a story, but today is important. And it is Jade. And what I'm really focusing on is just rubbing the belly for good fortune. Good fortune for whatever you're working for. And I just want to reconfirm, I'm in your corner too. I am in this Virgo's corner. If you're doing something positive, you're trying to work yourself and get to a better place, you got it. You got it. So let's go ahead and start. I got the Shamanic Healing Oracle. Taking a deep dive in. I feel like Virgo wants direct answers. Those direct answers could come at creativity. Maybe it's not going to be something so black and white that you're just going to read it. Maybe it's when you're creating something that it comes to you. Who was it? Was it Mark Twain? It was somebody like that who used to play the violin when they would get stuck. And the violin, I believe I had watched somewhere, certain instruments in general will activate brain activity in certain regions. And this person had identified that. So when they would get stuck, they would go and play their violin and they would be able to work through whatever they're stuck on. There was another person. Was it Edson? It was somebody else who was aware that certain brain waves would produce different firing in their brain, and they were allowed at that time to problem solve. And what they did is they would hold a ball in their hands as they would doze off, and they knew by the time they dropped that ball they were going to go into another wavelength, and they weren't going to remember what they were thinking through. So definitely when you get creative with some things, you get some different firing off with synapses, I want to say. So creativity is a big one. It is a big one when you're trying to problem solve, trying to come up with ideas. But for some reason, there's a struggle. There is this struggle. Now, maybe the struggle is seeing that it's always just going to be an uphill battle. Maybe the struggle is how you're going against the current. And then we have healing energy. What I'm hearing is this could be fueled by unforgivingness. And what I'm getting is somebody's going through, they're being extra critical, and they are not understanding life's variables. It's almost like a person who has too much drive, and they stress themselves out with that drive because they don't know how to step back. That's what I'm getting with that. All right, a few more cards. There they are. You're noticing that all these cards are coming out in side position. I want to point that out. So what we could have is somebody who is overworking, they're overdeveloping, they're burning themselves out, they're not able to take a break. Even if they're at home and they have a day off, it still doesn't matter. And it could be taken away from that self-love. That could be taken away from how this person is taking care of themselves. I wonder if this person is burying themselves in a lot of different things because whatever's coming in, they're not ready to fill yet. It's almost like when you go through a bad breakup or you have a sudden release from work and you're going through the before acceptance stage. You're grieving it. And this is what I'm feeling. You're not getting in touch with the intuition as to why this has happened. And this is probably why this integration is here too. What I'm hearing is, and this is directly what they're saying, is you're not integrating the path's purpose or the purpose of the path in your life. I think this is why this is all sideways. This is, wow. I don't think I've ever had this happen. I'm still new, but this is really intriguing. So when we take and take and take and take from ourselves, then how do you feed yourself to its full so that it can operate at its best? And I talked about this story with, was it Capricorn? And so we have the new moon in Leo. And Leo is that 5th house externalization of self. So that means what you're vibrating on the inside, you're going to be vibrating on that outside. But there was one story I'm really harboring on in this new moon, because this new moon is saying, hey, this is something we need to peek into, something that we need to be ready to open up into. It's a new thing to highlight, maybe a new thing to work on, maybe it's a new perspective. And one of the stories in the mythology with Leo has the story where a Leo basically declawed themselves, defanged themselves, all to marry a woodsman's daughter. And as soon as the Leos rendered themselves vulnerable, the woodsman turned on the Leo and ran the Leo out, leaving the Leo without its essential things to even be able to hunt. The moral behind that story is the self-sacrifice that this Leo did. And maybe this is where this new moon is reflecting, is how this Virgo is always self-sacrificing. They're putting their self-love last to get everything else done. So what happens when you don't change the oil on the car and you keep running and keep running? It eventually starts to run sluggish. You can keep adding oil, but stuff's getting built up. And you gotta take a stop. You gotta change that oil. You gotta do maintenance on that car if you want it to run really good, right? If you don't want tires popping, whatever, you gotta get new tires ever so often. That's maintenance. I had to actually talk to somebody because they were upset that they have to keep buying things, and it's like, that's a part of the maintenance of life. Yourself should be a part of your maintenance in life. And don't get upset with yourself if you don't know this. We weren't taught this. I speak about this a lot with my clients. So let's look into the present. What else would like to come out for the Virgo community? So I have a Prince of Pentacles. So a new start needs to be given, or a new sense in how you build your stability. And it starts with slowing down a little bit. Slowing down and giving that self-love. Maybe instead of always waking up and checking your emails, even waking up and, say if it's a relationship thing or you lost something, surrounding yourself with things from your device, from TV, from any kind of media that goes onto that stuff, feeds that energy. Listening to all them slow, sad songs feeds that energy. You want to start moving forward, you got to start looking for things that help you move forward. Because we do need help. We do need tools. Nobody's perfect. So what is it that the tools you need? What is it that the thoughts that you need to go? What's the direction? What is that direction? Well, right here it's saying that direction is you need to look at that gift. Your intuition. You got stuck in this boat for a reason. Look it. Look it. I know you don't want to be in this boat. I know you don't want to be in this boat. It doesn't seem fair. It came out of nowhere, Virgo. That's what I'm feeling right there. It came out of nowhere. But somewhere, something was seen, something was felt. But I'm hearing something with contentment. I don't know if the Virgo in this story was very content with what they had, so they just didn't follow that intuition. I'm seeing like stock market, or even on a graph when the arrow goes down. Like you weren't looking at the patterns. Virgos are very analytical. Did you ignore that? For the first time, maybe? Virgo in this story, it's a lesson learned. It is a lesson learned. Here it comes. There is that sea of emotions. There is that sea of emotions. That healing energy. This is what that healing energy needs to be put towards. Whoever, whatever, then took themselves from your party and left. Whatever it is. Because I feel like it wasn't the Virgo in this story that left. I feel like it was whatever Virgo's grieving over that left. Again, it could be person, place, or thing. And person goes down to, it could be not just family members, spouses, it could be friends. It could be a really good client. But it's something with this creativity and this healing energy and your intuition. Something was playing here and somehow it messed with stuff, and you seen it. You felt it. But why did you deny it? Was there a lot of passion involved? Maybe whatever it was, it looked really good. It looked too good to be on the other side of things. You can have this where you get hired with a company. I seen this actually very recently. There was this store that popped up, and within a week it was closed, and it had multiple locations, and it was really weird. Sometimes you can bank on a new start, and because it really looked good on the outside, you know how sometimes they say it's too good to be true? So this was one of those scenarios. It's looking like it's one of those stories. But I'm curious. So I have the 7 of Swords, 6 of Swords right here. One's inside. The 7's in upright. And then I have this 9 in reverse. 9 in reverse. Let's get an explanation card. Did you leave it in somebody else's hands? Did you leave it in somebody else's hands? Whose hands did it get left in? It's feeling like it was an ill contract. Can I get a clarity card for the 5? Clarity card for the 5. Yeah, 10 of Wands. Your view was blocked on this. Virgo did it to themselves, though, it's saying. You weren't following that intuition. Virgo's saying, but I know this, but how do I get out? All right, so what else would like to come out for the present? It wasn't the wish fulfillment. For some reason, Virgo's walking away with their head very low from this. Very, very low. Not knowing what to do. Really trying to figure out. Here comes that 5 of Pentacles again. Five of Pentacles, 8 of Swords. So what I'm hearing is, Virgo, you're basically playing the blame game here. Going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Between whose fault it was and all that stuff, and how you fell for it, and all this stuff that's just not that very nice. But you don't see the flip side of it. This flip side is, it was meant to happen for a reason. Even though you could be cursing at whatever you believe in, whatever the faith is for the Virgo in this story, it was meant to happen. Curious, why was this meant to happen? Why was this meant to happen for the Virgo? Let's see. Because the structure wasn't sound. It was a false build. It was a false, what you call, false prophet. Yeah. That's why you actually had somebody looking out for you on the other side. Because look at, see how there's a little monkey on that shoulder? But yeah, and even the card, look at, Justice is straight looking over this structure here. Whatever this was, if it was a partnership in a relationship, a partnership in business, a partnership where you took a new dive into something, entrepreneurship, whatever, and then if it was taken away very quick, it was meant to. For some reason, I'm feeling that the structure wasn't so sound, and what was going to end up happening is there was going to be a collapse of it. And that collapse of it could have left, metaphorically, big pieces of stuff everywhere. It would have been basically a really big mess for the Virgo in this community to clean up. Well, how is that with the relationship then? That means you would have got more invested. A house, kids, more property, more things of value such as cars and stuff. That means you would have got so invested that whenever this would have happened, it would have took more from you. That's what that's saying. In the long run, this was your universe's way, your divine's way, your angels, your guides, your ancestors trying to help. They didn't want to see this, whatever this was, take advantage of you. Wow. Somebody got your back. Make sure you thank them, because I'm the interpreter. I'm here to interpret what's going on with my own stuff, and this is what I'm being brought to. I thank them all the time. Make sure you thank them, because this is not just me. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the block. Let's see what it was that got you into this mess. All right, for the Virgo in this story, it was something really sweet. It was a really sweet offer that seemed really fair. Sweet offer that seems really fair. When you looked at a lot of different areas of it. On the front side, it definitely, you seen how swiftly things could grow, how swiftly things could come in. But you also seen that it would have been protected. But what you didn't know is on the other side, it was something else. The kingdom truly wasn't protected. Whatever this idea, truly wasn't protected. Maybe there was a compromise in there. That's what I'm getting. There could have been a compromise. There could have been somebody else sticking their freaking hand in your cookie jar, metaphorically. What is that? Too many chiefs? Not enough Indians? Too many cooks in the kitchen? I'm trying to think of any other sayings that I know. I can't think of any. All right, so, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Let's get a clarity card for that Ace of Wands. Clarity card for the Ace of Wands. I'm hearing one shuffle one time. All right, card for the... It's a whole bunch of stuff you don't see. That's what it is. What this was gonna do was gonna... It was gonna rock the boat. It was really gonna rock your boat. Instead of being something that was gonna be giving, it was gonna be very taking. You could have came in and you could have been the one who was doing all the movement. Whereas you thought it was something that was gonna be this new way to go, this new way to ride in. and you were going to go gung-ho for it with all your passion, you know, your full self into it. But you're going to run into so many different things, so many different adversities, so many different, just could have been things breaking. It could have been, what is it? When a business, what I'm seeing is when a business gets in a bad location kind of thing. And it wasn't going to produce that ideal direction. And this is probably why you're feeling that burnout. This is probably why you're feeling that burnout. You can see with companies, different things, you can go in there and you could be that saving grace that says, hey, I can save this. I can save it. I can save it. I can make it work. But you got to understand, if nobody is on that boat with you rowing, you the only one working for it. And you got to really analyze who you got on that boat. Are they just sitting there? Are they making it harder? Are they drilling holes? Is it just only you? Like, it's a metaphoric boat. It's a metaphoric boat, but that's the way you could look at it in life. Like, if you can get in a boat with some people, you can go on this journey. We can call it life's journey. What kind of people do you want on this boat with you? And you got to understand, there's points where these people got to get off and other people got to come on. It's life's journey. All right, let's go ahead and move forward with this block. Anything else want to come out for the block for the Virgo community? You thought you made the right choice. You looked at what you had, looked at both decisions. You looked at them really good. And I felt like the Virgo in this story, seen those little differences. So you wrote out to the one that promised the most. The one that was the most passionate. The one that you felt like fed your intuition. You know, that really made you feel like, hey, I'm at where I'm supposed to be. Everything is unfolding in the right time. Anything else want to come out for the Virgo community? Okay. All right. This all has to do with this and that weak foundation. You was just following what you knew. You were. Maybe it was something that you learned along the way from somebody else. Could have been a family member. It could have been something else that worked out for somebody else before. Could have been a way of doing a relationship, a way of doing a partnership. But the thing is, whatever you learned from, it didn't tell you the other side of the coin. The conflicts that can come from it. How much energy it took to do it. And maybe how many times they wanted to throw in the towel. Or maybe this is exactly how Virgo's feeling. Right here. I didn't think that going this route was going to leave me, you know, not seeing this other side of the coin. Knowing that this and this was going to happen. I wasn't prepared for this. How come whatever class I took, how come whatever mentor I had, how come nobody spoke about all this other stuff? Ooh, well, there's a big difference, Virgos. You know this? Between what is that in-office work versus field work. Big difference. Big. You can look at the stats, but in field work is a whole lot different. Because you out here messing with real life, babies. Right there. Real life. Real life don't play by those text rules that we read. I can say this in my job when I went to school versus when now basically 7 years later, they kind of taught me like about that much of what really happens and what I gotta really do and all those stuff, what to expect, what to do in certain scenarios. This much. Now, the knowledge I've gained from there to now is astronomical. It doesn't compare to the first part of my journey when I received that initial education. So don't get hung up in not knowing that this was going to happen like this. Don't get too hung up. Right here, right now, the lesson is, yes, you made that self-sacrifice. And it's like we talked about the Leo, all right? But we didn't talk about that full moon. That full moon is in Aquarius. So Aquarius is going to be in our 11th house. Social aspirations and ideals and reform. If you met an Aquarius, it's a fixed sign. Fixed air sign. That means they can be fixed in their thoughts. But the sign also represents authentic self. So what this plays into with this self-sacrificing new light being shed on to us this month through these energies is that to get through this, you got to really come to your authentic self. All right, we learned some lessons. So how do you want to take those next steps? And those first next steps are taking care of yourself. Letting yourself know that you're proud of yourself for even showing up and even trying this deal. There's others who wouldn't even try and reach for the gold right away. But this Virgo had a vision and they were ready for it to happen. Kudos. It's just a hard lesson right now. Don't let that hard lesson determine the rest of your life. Like I like to tell people, why does the past version get all the best experiences? Baloney. That past version should be there to help enhance the experiences that we're going through now and building now so that we can enhance our future. Now, I know the Virgos understand this right there. All right. So that's a lot. That's a lot, but you got this. You got this. Don't give up. So let's go ahead and get through with the conclusion. What is this conclusion? What is needed, angels, spirit guides, ancestors? Trust. You're going to have to, this is going to help you birth a new kind of trust for yourself and following that intuition. Because I have protection right here. What is it? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You let somebody do that, shame on you again? Heck no. Virgos are too smart for that. What else is needed? Sovereignty. Sovereignty. Straight out. Right there. Sovereignty. Onto the whole thing. The whole thing. You may not see the justice in it right now, but when you work through this and you find your niche after this, whether it's with a person, place, or a thing, you're going to feel why this didn't work out. And you'll be able to feel how those foundations were so faulty, even down to the little nail that was used to create them or help build it. Attraction. You got to work on that attraction again. Externalization of yourself. Vibrating what you want to attract. Knowing that you deserve it. Even when you get knocked down, you still deserve it. Could you imagine if Michael Jordan or any other really awesome basketball player? Curry. I can't name that many of them. I want to say like Dennis Rodman because I'm a little bit older. And Kobe, you know, all of them. But could you imagine even reaching to like even the football athletes? I'm going to go John Elway, Terrell Davis, you know, Peyton Manning, just like even golfers, Tiger Woods, singers, you know, Shania Twain. You know, could you imagine if all these people quit the first time they got done dirty in the biz? They wouldn't be where they're at. You know how many people then did those people dirty? How many yes people they had around them, helping them to create these faulty foundations? You are attracting this type of stuff because you're gold. You are gold. You have a drive, and when you have that, people love to capitalize on that real quick. Don't forget that. So it's recreating this new trust. A trust, not a new trust, but an even deeper level of trust with yourself. And that comes when you work into those deeper levels of self-love. That's real right there. I could spend another hour talking about my theory on tiers of love and how they operate, you know, which ways they go, but I don't think y'all want me to go into that right now. So let's keep going though. We got 2 more cards to go. What else would like to come out for the Virgo community? When you reach into that sovereignty, when you're reflecting at that faulty foundation, you know, all the little things that added up to that, you know, and you're trying to beat yourself up for not following your gut, you know, in that self-reflection, it's just have some sovereignty with it. Really, really fill out. And maybe instead of taking action against yourself and your thoughts, maybe slowing down. And this is going to sound cheesy, but I'm being told, give yourself a mental hug. You made it through it. You made it through it. This could be something that could really like traumatize a person. I was talking with a client about this the other day, and we were talking how the lines in the body can get clogged from different kind of traumas. And people don't understand that traumas just don't come at horrific events. Traumas come at a traumatic event in somebody's life. That could be somebody losing a business. That could be somebody losing their family due to a divorce. You know, that could be somebody who lost their job of 5+ years. You know, that could be somebody who has their child move out on them abruptly. It could be somebody who had a fall and got injured. It could be from a surgery. It could be from a lot of different things. But right here, right now, I'm feeling like all this is coming out so that Virgo doesn't walk away from this and give up on their purpose. Because their purpose is still tied to whatever originally was being created here, I would say. Whatever kind of passion. I wouldn't say the object, the item itself. I would go back to the passionate drive. Because if you look at our stuff is always evolving. If you're spiritually growing, you're always evolving. And you're always evolving, say, in your hobbies or in the things that you do with your hobbies. The way I worked out 10 years ago is not the same way I work out now. And my outlook on the body is totally different from then to now. So just remember, this is just an experience that's really, really meant to teach you. Okay? So, this is all I have for you, Virgo community. I hope you enjoyed this story. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.